Gather round, friends. It's time for Officials' Tales. Hosted by three retired sports referees that coaches throughout Northern Ohio knew as the Three Blind Mice. They are authors of the book called Officials' Tales. So let's meet the authors and your hosts, Jimmy Borgia, Rick Hall, and Don Nardecchia for today's edition of Officials' Tales. Now here's your host, Rick Hall.
Welcome everybody to our sneak peek football show. We're going to go over like what we're having coming up and getting all of our people ready, all of our audience ready for football 2025, 2026. So without further ado, let me bring on Don. Hey, Nardo.
Hey, Rick. Good to see you.
Good to see you. We don't have our third wheel or our extra eye, Mr. One Eye himself. He's in Michigan on vacation, and we're doing this sneak peek for everybody because, we're going to be busy too. You got people coming in. I'm going to Milwaukee, so, we're not going to have a show, but we want to let everybody know what's coming up. So how's everything going in South Carolina?
We're praying for rain right here. I've seen so much rain over the last 2 weeks, these afternoon thunderstorms that build because of the heat.
Oh, yeah.
When they're about 30 miles away, it looked like we're right in the eye of it. We're going to get some rain. By the time it gets about 6 miles out, they either go around us to the east or to the west, or they just fizzle out before they get here. So we were in Greenville a little while ago, and we got all the way home, and as we were hitting city limits, there's a spat of rain we got about 7 or 8 drops of rain on the windshield. And then when we're right out in front of the development, there's signs of previous rain on the road. And we hadn't seen that on our stretch of road in front of the place here for 4 or 5 weeks. And so we were hoping, but I don't think there's much coming. Tomorrow seems to be a day when it's going to be more or less blanket rain instead of those little, I call them Swiss cheese pop-outs. Here they are. They're here. They're gone. They're all over the place, but yet they never hit you.
Oh, yeah. Well, we haven't had that problem here.
I understand the corn's up really good.
Oh, God, the corn's crazy here. And I think I was listening to the weather guys this morning. Apparently, like a lot of cornfields, they put up moisture into the atmosphere. And it causes more rain. So
sure, yeah,
we've got a lot of that here. So, but anyway, going back to our show, we are going to talk about the upcoming shows, our football kickoff. We're also going to go over a couple little high school rules here in a minute. But it's exciting because we've actually started to put together the high school packet. We're going to have some special guests, hopefully a couple of officials, maybe Greg Bartimas, Ryan Bowers, get those guys back, maybe at the same time. That would be very interesting.
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
And, I'd like to, and we've talked to the state championship football coach here in town, John Livengood. Man, he's talking about a football guy. I mean, he knows pretty much everything there is to know about football.
Yeah, same team, same school for 32 years.
Yeah. And he wants to.
He's still in the office. I mean, he's the athletic director, dean of students. He's still there. He's just not on the field any longer. But man, what a run he had there. And a well-respected guy by a lot of officials throughout the state. And he's got a lot of connections. So he ought to have some pretty interesting stuff for us.
Yeah, and of course we'll do some new rule reviews. We're going to do a little of that today, and then our big NCAA kickoff. The same scenario we'd like to do. A couple of our officials, our buddy Billy. He's the MAC guy. He's a part-time Big Ten fill-in, and then of course our buddy Riley Boy, it'd be nice to have them both on at the same time.
You know, we see if we could pull that off too, because I think that'd be really interesting.
Oh, I think so too.
NCAA rules are the same all over, but yet different leagues and different officiating groups are instructed to do things a little bit different, not changing the rule so much, but may change what you see called. And in the case of these fellas, we've got Bill Foltz that also works a game or two a year in the Big Ten besides a full Mid-American Conference schedule. And those two leagues work together. They have the same officiating guru. And so whatever he says is what those two leagues do. Down here, the ACC is down here, and I think maybe the Big South, which is comparable to the MAC, their officials learn together and have the same supervisory group. And with Riley Johnson joining us, we'll just see what he has to say about the way they might be doing things different this year.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited about that. I'm excited about both of those. And, we're, sitting as we're like on the sideline now, so to speak. It's kind of interesting to see what everything's coming out, what the new, emphasis are. Is there any, as far as the high school, is there any gold book changes? Is there anything that, maybe we should look for or be able to answer questions for? Because people tend to ask us a lot of questions.
In the next week or so, I'm going to be digging into the gold book. I can go online and get a copy of it, and they always mark by putting it's all black and white, but they put a gray background or underline, or they make it very easy to pick out things that have been changed in the football gold book. So go over, I'll go over and look at that and see if there's anything that's striking us, but we'll also get that from Greg. Greg as well too, because he's when it comes to the rules in the state of Ohio, he's probably in the top 1% of officials as far as knowing what's going on ahead of time.
Yeah, and that's good to know. So we're going to start off with a couple of these are new high school rules that we found online. And we're going to show these, and we're going to go over with the
fumble out of bounds. Well, what are we going to do now with a forward fumble out of bounds? Well, the Federation this year has decided that if you've got that forward fumble that goes out of bounds, forward fumble, you're going to go back to the spot of where the ball was fumbled. So that doesn't matter where the ball was fumbled. So if the ball was fumbled behind the line of scrimmage, beyond the line of scrimmage, doesn't matter. When the ball is fumbled and goes out of bounds forward, we will now move that ball back to the spot of the fumble. That will be the spot where the ball is now down, as well as clock status, as the clock will then run because technically now that player was down in bounds, not out of bounds. So know that that's what we're going to do. And it doesn't matter if the ball is behind the line of scrimmage or beyond the line of scrimmage. This one is coming back to that spot, and we're going to mark it there. Now,
what do you think of that, Don? That's interesting.
I think it takes a lot of judgment out of the hands of the officials on something that we very seldom see. And, they've done that in the pros, and I think college has a rule similar to the pro rule. And this just makes it simple. We have always thrown a beanbag whenever there's a fumble. Mm-hmm. So that is no different. The reaction of the official should be to get that beanbag dropped at the spot. And when I say the spot, that's ref talk. It doesn't mean the bag has to go where the foot of the player is that fumbled it or anything like that. If he fumbles at the 35-yard line and it's the official on the sideline that sees it, he's supposed to drop his bag at 35-yard line.
Yep. And
then they go back to there and they approximate where it is on the field. If it's outside the hashes, it goes to hash. If between the hashes where it's fumbled, then it goes back to the approximate spot of the fumble. So I think it's a great rule, and it takes away an arguable point when it might be considered an intentional forward fumble on a crucial 4th and 2, and they decide to go for it. They get out near the sideline, and as soon as they're touched, somebody might fumble it forward and out of bounds to keep anybody else from getting it. They'll see the flag, or they'll see the sticks there. They fumble it out of bounds, stop the clock. Ball went out here. That's where they used to get the ball. Not going to happen anymore. And it takes the judgment away. Was it really a fumble, truly a fumble, or was it a fake fumble? Let's use the word fake fumble.
Yeah.
To an advantage to get a first down.
Or as they call it in the NFL, the holy roller.
Yes. Yeah.
I got a lot of plays on this because it should seem pretty straightforward, but there are definitely a couple things that we need to walk through on this one. So we've got our first play here, and you can see we've got a runner up to the top, and they fumble the ball. And the ball is fumbled forward and then goes out of bounds. You get a slow motion of this. Now, right at this point, the ball is out. Here, the ball is fumbled. We have an official who's in this position. Now, that official needs to beanbag this. Yes. How are we going to beanbag this one? This official is not going to take his beanbag, wind up like he's Nolan Ryan, and throw it as fast as he can at this player since he fumbled to tell the whole entire world that he is now fumbled. All we need to do is drop the bag at this spot. We don't need to throw it. We don't need to, we might toss it a little bit, but we're not actually throwing it to this spot.
Right.
The reason why is because we are probably not going to be very good. We're going to hit a player. We do.
See, what I think he should do is he should just, because he's one of the line judges, he should just throw it near one of the hashes on the out of bounds. So we got a good, we're right there, we're out of the play. We're nowhere near the players. We know where it's going. So,
here's the other thing. We used to have white beanbags.
Right.
And on green, the beanbags show up real nicely. And, the coaches, the people up in the box, they see the beanbag and they right away know you saw a fumble. Okay. Maybe the people in stands don't realize why that's down there, but in this case, that signifies there's a fumble. And you're right, doesn't have to go out there by him, but in the case where he is, there are still some players along the sideline. And, I don't ever like to drop one right on the sideline because it's easy for somebody going off at the end of the play or somebody coming on, listen to their coaches. They start to creep out to the field and they take that first big step, and they may, between the second, third step, they may kick that beanbag somewhere.
Sure.
And so it's good to keep it, on the field, but and anybody that sees the fumble should try to beanbag it. And again, if your beanbag didn't get where it should be, take and move it there at the end of the play.
Sure.
Because it doesn't always go where you want. Now, the blue beanbags that we were using when I retired, those were hard to see on the green.
Yeah, I think so.
Blue and green are a little different, but when you start talking about a bag that's actually going to go down into the grass on a real field, and so many of these turf fields now have strands of that nylon that looks like grass that the bags can embed a little bit. So that's a good thing. And I believe I'd seen somewhere where we may have allowance for a couple of different colors of a bean bag now, so that it shows out. You look at the flag we throw. It's not hard to see that on the field.
No.
And when I started, the place in Sandusky, Ohio, where I got some equipment, they threw in a free bean bag, but it was orange. And
Yeah.
that's what they had used up until, I'm going to say, 77, maybe 76, right about when I started. Then it went to white and was white for a long time. And I could never figure why they wanted that blue.
I don't know. Sell more equipment.
A mental
Yeah.
note, though, if it's inside the hashes, exactly where it was, because then the ball would go there. But in this case, outside of the hash, it doesn't matter. This ball will be moved inside. So don't get overzealous on any of this stuff, because you will have to adjust your bag, and it will maybe cause confusion based off of other action that you have going on in the play. We would used to throw our bags in high school for a penalty enforcement spot. Well, now we're throwing our bags for fumbles to indicate the spot of the fumble in case of a situation like this where we have to return the ball. So there's a lot of high school officials who are not used to throwing their bag behind the line of scrimmage, because they're like, well, that spot is immaterial. Well, now it is. So we toss, drop, throw, whatever, our bags now on all fumbles, because we don't know what the end result of that fumble is going to be. It might be a backward fumble that ends up going forward. We'll talk a little bit about that later. So now, high school officials, if you see a fumble, that's a really important part too. If you see the fumble, you bag it. Now, if you see a loose ball and nobody else is doing anything, you may want to bag that as well, just in case we have to go back to that spot, where we used to always say only bag a fumble you see. I'm still saying that. We're still saying only bag a fumble you see. But in the end, we might have to take that just a little bit more. And if nobody's bagged the fumble and we have a loose ball and you don't have a whistle, then maybe we should throw a bag or toss a bag, because we might have to go back to that spot, and at least you have the idea. The reason we avoided that in the past was because I didn't want to throw a bag and then my fellow officials killing it. Now we can look, like we're contradicting ourselves. So if you don't see a fumble, you do not see it, then don't throw your bag right away just because you have a loose ball. Give it a second or two, and if you think you might have to mark a spot, then that would be the time to do it. But don't jump the gun, because now you throw your bag and your buddy kills it dead. So be very careful about that. But we still have to know where that spot is in case we have to return. So going back to it, because now the ball goes out of bounds, you can see that we should have our bag and the ball goes out of bounds. We're still killing the clock. When that ball goes out of bounds, we still kill the clock, just like anything else. We move that ball back to the spot. This time it'll be the hash. And as soon as the ball is down and ready, we wind the clock. Now, one other thing that is an issue here is the play clock. The play clock is the same as it has been. It's no different than if a player ran out of bounds, or if we had a first down and we kill the clock and we move the chains. We always reset the play clock at the end of the down. This is the same. The play clock is set at the end of the down, and then as we're doing our stuff, the ball is set, and then we roll the clock. Now, if we find that we delay as officials in getting that ball properly set, then we always have the option of pumping it back up on the.
And, that's actually a very good point, because a lot of guys, on a normal sunny Friday night, or, where we're fine. But boy, if we got mud or we need to change the ball because it's wet, that's a very, very good point. Don't be afraid to pump it back up if we need to do that.
Yep.
I mean, I some of these guys, they just don't pay attention, and then, that just drives coaches nuts.
25. But this is not we don't go to a 25-second play clock here. We don't wait for that ball to get set for the referee to then, blow it or roll it, then say, oh, now we're going 25 on a ready ref. No, we still do our 40-second play clock.
Mhm.
It's just we do have our tools available if we do not get that ball set in time and the clock rolled, if we have to pump it back up to another 25. So that's an important part about this too. 40-second play clock's the same. Stop the clock, put the ball down, and then roll the clock. Pretty straightforward on that, but clock is important here, as sometimes we always forget about the clock when it comes to a lot of this stuff. So we'll go to our next play now, and you're going to see this play. This player is now running. Now he fumbles the ball backwards, and the ball goes out of bounds. The ball was fumbled right around the 20-yard line there. You can see him. He's trying to fight for yardage. The ball pops out. He's not protecting it. In fact, he caused
Holding it like a loaf of bread, they say.
Yep,
his own fumble.
just
So
around the 20-yard line.
I got the
for our
20.
official. We want our official to mark this spot. We know it's outside of the inbounds marks, outside the hashes, so we don't have to throw it at that spot. We just need to know the yard line. So drop in the bag there, a little toss at the 20. That works just fine. So we know what that spot is. Now, moving forward here, you can see it's going backward. The ball is going backwards, and there's our official who throws his bag, and the ball goes out of bounds. We're killing the clock, but this hasn't changed. If the ball is not forward, so sideways or backwards, we're killing the clock, and this is a ball that has become out of bounds, period. We do not move the ball back and then decide, oh, now we're going to wind the clock. Since it's backward, and the end of the result of that play is behind the spot of the fumble, the clock stays dead, just like it always did, and we move it to the spot where the ball was declared dead, out of bounds. Robert, what do you got, my friend?
If we have a fumble inside the hashes, so we're near midfield, and somehow, miraculously, that ball is fumbled forward and it continues to maintain its status as a fumble forward, but goes out of bounds, are you saying, Tim, to bring the ball back inside the hash where that fumble actually occurred rather than putting it at the hash of the nearest sideline where it went out of bounds?
So the way I understand it, the ball is supposed to be returned to the spot of the fumble. The spot of the fumble. So if the ball is fumbled in the middle of the field and ends up out of bounds, the ball goes back to the middle of the field. Most of the time, that's not going to happen. It's going to be in the side zones. But to your question, yes, it goes back to the spot of the fumble. Very good question. So we've got that taken care of. So now we know what we're going to do with a forward fumble and a backward fumble. Here's an interesting one, though, that was brought up, and this is actually has been changed already in some interpretation. Some people might have heard a different interpretation on this, but the rules editorial committee has fixed this one. Thank goodness. All right, so here's the play. We've got a kickoff. All right, we got a kickoff. The ball is caught. Kick ends in the field of play. Momentum takes this player into the end zone. So we know right there we should have a beanbag for momentum right around the 2-yard line. All right. Now the momentum takes this player into the end zone. Clear momentum play. All right. Right now, the player fumbles and the ball goes in the field of play and then out of bounds. What do? We're supposed to put the ball back in the end zone, right? Is that a safety or is that momentum? So if you've got this play, if this player right now fumbles the ball and that ball goes out of bounds, by rule, the ball goes back in the end zone. But what put the ball in the end zone? The momentum exception put the ball in the end zone. So now we go back to wherever we dropped our bag for the momentum exception, and we don't put the ball in the end zone, thus creating a safety. That's really important. So that's why momentum, we've always harped that here about dropping the bag for momentum. That's going to even be more important now in a case.
Now that's a very interesting, and we'll end there for this video, and we'll bring on the high school guys for the rest of it. But that's very, very interesting because if you think about it, the momentum took him across the line of scrimmage or across the end line, the end zone. So we kill it right there, did we not? So even if he did fumble it forward, it wouldn't mean anything, would it? I mean, am I just misinterpreting this?
Well, that's yet to be seen. And you know, when we get Greg on here, that's the
that's a
guy to
good
talk
one.
to, because he's going to be in on that discussion. Yeah, it's the momentum of the kick that carries it in, not
Right.
the player. It's
Correct.
still the player has the ball, he caught it, but it's still kick momentum that takes him into the end zone.
All right. So, in your eyes, now let's, without Greg's interpretation, in your eyes, what do we do there? Right? Say he fumbles the ball and he picks it up, and what are we doing?
If it's in the end zone, it should be no different than a kickball that bounces and goes off his hand and keeps going.
That's my
you can't say if you're given momentum exception, that would stop when the player gets control of his body and turns and comes out of the end zone. So it shouldn't be allowed. You can't return a ball once it's crossed the end zone. So we'll see how this plays out into this new rule. And from the time this was recorded, they may have addressed that and put it out to, it doesn't take long for these changes to go once the national ruling body rules on it. It doesn't take long for that to filter right back to the officials. The only thing is, I know there's probably a lot of officials who don't pay attention. They'll blow this call. They'll come up with something completely different. And it's good to know that where we officiated, that those messages come out weekly. They come out, I think, 8 times a season. I think there's 1 week where they don't come out, but strange happenings, new interpretations are in that. They come out every Friday about noon, and so everybody has them before the weekend games.
Well,
we used to go over those in the locker room.
Yeah, so
in our pregame every Friday night.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm thinking in my head, like we talked about the last show or so. Now think about this. Okay, the kid took it in the end zone. He's fumbling around. The ball's coming loose. He's still in the end zone, and he gets hit because we didn't blow the whistle. Okay, so he gets hit. The ball's loose. The other team recovers it. They're going touchdown. Well, you got yourself a mess now. So I mean, you either going to shut that down, or I mean, I could see all kinds of terrible things happening. But anyway, we'll leave that for Greg. We want to tease our people. We want you to come back. We don't want to decide everything for you because, believe it or not, it'll probably change a couple times between now and then. So that being said, we're going to get you out of here pretty quick. Our book is still available at Amazon in hardback, paperback, and ebook. And if you can't wait for Amazon to print them and send them, you can always go to the Common Good and grab them today. They're running specials for us. I know we're going to do a video up there in the near future, and that's going to be fun. Can't wait. And maybe, meet and greet with some people. So, and we'll give you the date on that too when we get there. And I did have, it's Jimmy's nephew, right, Maxx?
Yes, Maxx.
All right, Maxx. We're going to put a video on for you because this is our football special. We are going to go. Hang on 1 second, Maxx. We're going to go here, and there we go. Here we go, Maxx. This is for you, buddy.
Now listen, knucklehead. We'll hold him and you grab the ball. Hike! Hike. Go on.
Oh, God. Look at those uniforms.
Well, you got brains like Napoleon. Napoleon's dead. I know it.
Oh, Lord. That's for you, Max. Hopefully you enjoyed that, buddy. And I got one more video. Hey, Don, you got anything else to say to our people?
Well, again, I just we've talking to people. We'll set up dates for them to join us. I think August is going to be a really busy month for the show. And we talk about our officiating friends and Greg Bartimus and Ryan Bowers and Billy Foltz, Riley Johnson. We've got Division I, we've got Division II, we've got high school. Ryan Bowers, he's not at Division III anymore. He's in Division II also. Mm-hmm. So we've got the college rules, we got the high school rules covered. We're going to retrace our steps from last year. We'll contact Andy Freeze, the head coach at Ohio Northern. He had a whirlwind of a summer last year. And trying to put together a team. He put together a very competitive team that lost 2 games, two very close games down the stretch. And I think their overall record was 6-4. So we're going to talk, last year we asked him a little bit about name, image, and likeness and what that may mean and how he was going to handle it. He had some very straightforward answers to that for what they knew. So we'll see where that puts them. Usually at Division III, you don't hear much. They lose a player moving up the ladder because of name, image, and likeness. And we know he said, if a kid's got a chance to better him, that's fine. I'm happy for him. We're trying to make these players the best they can be. They can make them the best young men they can be. He's not going to hold anybody back in a situation like that. So we'll talk to him and find out what's going on in year 2 that is different for him. And that should be very interesting too. Andy spent the whole show with us last year, and it was a great talk with him. Yeah. And so, we'll try to catch a couple local media guys and a little later on in the season, maybe talk to Mark Lane once he's had 2-3 broadcasts under his belt and he starts to get a feel for what's going on in these leagues. So, hang with us here through August, and we'll try to have these things set up 2-3 weeks in advance, so you know which week who's coming, and you can tell your neighbors about that. And we've got some other ideas. I think we're going to be too busy in August and early September to go back and look at. I have a final take on these travel teams and stuff that have been so busy this summer, but it's been, I've been seeing a lot of things that have opened my eyes, and we'll try to pass the best of the best information on to the people that listen. And so again, if you've got a nephew or niece or grandson or granddaughter that plays travel ball, let the family know when we're going to have these travel ball experts on, and it should be really interesting.
Oh yeah. And we thank you for watching our shows, and God bless you. We do have a hype video to end before we go to our closeout, but we do want to thank everybody for watching us. And anything you can think of, if you got an idea you want us to go over, hey, we're more than open. If you got a question on a rule, ask us. We can sure find out for you. If we don't know, we can sure find out for you. So hang on, we got this one football video, hype video to show, and then we'll catch you next time. It'll probably be a couple of weeks before we get back out here, but
we get the rest of this week and next week off, and see if we can have something ready for you just before the first scrimmage of the high school season. And believe it or not, that is going to happen on Saturday, August 2nd. When I was in school, fall practice didn't even start until the 14th or the 15th, and the first game 22nd. So so it's different. It's a lot different than when we were in school.
Oh yeah, you're doggone right about that. So
don't you have the leather helmets anymore?
And the goalposts on the goal line, that kind of crap. Yeah. Well, here we go.
Are you ready, all you fans out there in out there land? I say it's time again. Have mercy, let the congregation say, amen. It's time for the biggest, baddest party in the world. So get on up, turn it up a notch, and get ready to boogie, baby. Ow!
We're back. Well, it's Monday night. A new week has begun. I turn on my TV for some pigskin fun. I see a Super Bowl season here on ABC. The biggest game each week is their specialty. I gotta get ready, make everything right. 'Cause Monday night football's coming on tonight. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? We're ready! Are you ready for some football? A Monday night party! Hey,
That's the way to end it, right? Before you're done.
There you go.
good time started. We've got the teams on the field and we turned up the lights. All my rowdy friends are back for Monday night time.
Hey,
Boy,
one
if
other
that
thing.
doesn't get you wound up, nothing will, huh?
Yeah. One thing as we're doing that, in the winter, we talked about maybe moving the show to Monday night.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 7:30, maybe an hour, maybe it's 7, because as in those days, Monday Night Football started at 9:00. It doesn't
Yeah,
any
sure
longer,
did.
but we'd like to tie our show in, spend Monday night with us prior to the pros, and
Yeah.
I'd like to know what people think about that, because we do the show live, and then it'd be, if you miss it, pick it up later in the week. But we did a couple of our shows live, and we didn't embarrass ourselves a whole lot doing
Well,
that. But if we could set
maybe
that up, I think we'd have a great time on Monday nights. And who
I
knows?
think it'd be great. Tell us
Who
what
knows?
you think.
Maybe this goes down to the Buckeye Pub for a show before the an Ohio State game sometime.
That would be
Or,
awesome.
we could have some fun with it. But if that appeals to you on Monday night live, let us know. Let us know what you think.
We would love it. And until then, God bless. Have a great couple of weeks, and we'll see you then.
That's all, folks.